When you think about what makes a nation truly wealthy, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Gold? Oil? Well, today we're going to explore what is, without a doubt, the ultimate resource: us, people. We're going to map out where we all live, figure out why, and see what our story tells us about our shared future.
So let's really ask that question. What is it? Is it glittering gold bars stacked in a vault? Is it massive reserves of oil deep underground? Or maybe it's just endless fields of fertile farmland? What do you think really makes a country tick?
And the answer is people. It's us. I mean, think about it. A diamond is really just a shiny rock until we decide it's beautiful and valuable. Oil is just this black sludge in the ground until we figure out how to power our world with it. It's our needs, our skills, and our ideas that turn the planet's raw materials into actual resources. At the end of the day, we're the ones who create value.
Okay, so if people are the key, the first obvious question is, where is everybody? Because as you're about to see, the way we've spread out across the globe is, well, it's pretty lopsided.
Get a load of this number. A full 90%. That's 9 out of every 10 people on Earth are all living on just 30% of the land. Just let that sink in for a second. That one stat tells you pretty much everything you need to know about how clustered we really are. And if we break it down by continent, the picture gets even sharper. Basically, 3 out of every 4 people on the planet live in either Asia or Africa. That's a huge concentration, and it really shows you where humanity's center of gravity is right now.
And we can zoom in even more. Check this out. A whopping 60% of the entire world's population lives in just these 10 countries. You've got the big ones like China, India, and the US at the top, but every single country on this list has over 100 million people. That is just incredible.
Now, to really talk about this properly, we need a key term: population density. It sounds kind of technical, but it's super simple. It's just a way of measuring how many people are living in a specific amount of space, usually 1 square kilometer. It's how we measure how crowded a place really is.
And to really put that into perspective, look at this comparison. The average for the entire world is about 51 people per square kilometer, okay? But in India, that number just skyrockets to 382. That's a massive difference, and it has huge effects on everything from traffic to housing to resources.
So this all brings up a really big question. Why? Why do we all cluster together in certain places? What are the forces that push and pull us around the map? Let's dig into that.
Well, first up, you've got the simple facts of geography. It just makes sense, right? We're drawn to flat, fertile river plains like the Ganga in India, not so much the steep, cold Himalayas. We look for good weather, fresh water, and soil we can farm. And of course, if there are valuable minerals in the ground, like diamonds in South Africa, you can bet people will gather.
But hey, it's not just about the landscape. We're social animals, right? We flock to places with good housing, schools, and hospitals. Think of a city like Pune. We gather in places that have cultural or religious meaning, like Jerusalem. And maybe the biggest pull of all, jobs. We chase economic opportunity, and that's what builds huge industrial centers like Osaka in Japan. So, we've got a handle on why we live where we live. But what about the other big question? How does our total number change over time? Why does the population go up or down? Well, it turns out the whole thing boils down to a pretty simple equation.
This timeline tells one of the most incredible stories ever. For almost all of human history, our population grew at a snail's pace. I mean, it took us all the way up to the year 1804 just to hit 1 billion people. But then, something changed. With better food and medicine, death rates just plummeted. We hit 3 billion by 1959, and then, get this, we doubled it to 6 billion in just 40 years. That, my friends, is a population explosion.
So how does an explosion like that even happen? The math is actually super straightforward. It's all driven by just 3 things: how many people are born, how many people die, and how many people move around. Births, deaths, and migration. That's it. That's the whole equation.
When more people are being born than are dying, a population grows. And the difference between those two numbers is what we call the natural growth rate. It was this rate going into hyperdrive that caused that massive boom we just saw in the timeline.
And the last piece of that puzzle is migration. It's a two-way street. You have immigration, which is people moving into a country, and emigration, which is people moving out. This is a huge reason why countries like the US and Australia have grown so much. They're magnets for immigrants. On the flip side, you have places like Sudan, which have seen their populations affected by people emigrating or leaving.
All right, for our last section, what if I told you there was a way to see a country's entire story? Its past, its present, and even get clues about its future, all in a single picture.
Seriously, how is that even possible? How can one chart tell you so much about a country's character and where it's headed? Well, the answer lies in this really cool and powerful visual tool. It's called a population pyramid. And at its core, it's just a simple graph that breaks down a country's population by different age groups and by gender. But the shape it makes? Oh, that shape tells a fascinating story. Let's look at 3 totally different stories. First up, Kenya. See that pyramid? It's got a really wide base that gets narrow super fast. That tells you there are high birth rates, but also high death rates. It's a very young population. Now, look at India. The base is still broad, but the sides are not as steep. That shows that more kids are surviving to become adults, which means you have this massive, growing workforce. And finally, Japan. Its pyramid is narrow at the bottom. That's the story of low birth rates and an aging population.
And here is why all of this matters. The shape of that pyramid isn't just some abstract chart in a textbook. It has huge, real-world consequences. It tells you how big a country's workforce is, how much strain is on its healthcare system, and it gives you a sneak peek into the major challenges that nation is going to face for decades.
And that brings us right back to where we started. Every single one of us is a potential resource. A skilled, educated, and motivated population is the true engine of a country's success. So we'll leave you with this question. As one of these incredible human resources, what will your contribution be?